Derek, good morning. How are you? Derek from Broadway Theater, Broadway Utica. And Ann Milograno is in, and Ann has made some news lately. So how do we want? You guys can share, or however you guys want to work that out.
Thank you, Jeff.
Good morning, Derek. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you first reached out on this story. This is a very interesting story involving something you've been talking about for quite some time, and that is thievery. Really? I mean, right? It's the scams out there where you got to be careful what tickets you're buying.
Yes, the third-party resource issue, it continues. I do have to say, though, and I'm proud to say that we put a lot of checks and balances in place in the last couple months at Broadway Theater League. And as of last night, when I left the office around 8:30, we had 0 Motown tickets on the third-party resources.
Oh, that's really good.
So
that's a good thing.
What we've done is definitely, has nipped it in the butt a little bit. Not to say that it still can't happen, but at least I think that we put some checks and balances in place, and also too just overall community awareness with shows like yourself allowing us to come on and talk about it.
So Ann is on the board of directors, and explain what happened to you.
Well, I had wanted to see Leno, wanted to make it a Valentine's Day gift for my husband last year and myself, and was trying to get to the Turning Stone website and came across a number of different spots that I could go, and unfortunately ended up on a ticket source and went through the whole process, and I bought 4 tickets. And
you want good seats too? I'm assuming you're looking for the best seats you can find.
Well, I kind of was looking at the map and everything, and they weren't really way up front or anything, but not having really done this before, I thought, well, this will work, and I was willing to really pay whatever. The price was pretty high. It was over $300, and I went ahead and I put the order through and got an email or message saying, your tickets are going to download for you March 5th. And this was February 14th. So I thought, well, that's a little different. I've ordered things on StubHub. I've ordered things on Ticketmaster, and you always were able to just download. So I was a little concerned about that.
Meanwhile, they've already charged your credit card at this point.
Sure, right. So I said, I'll just wait and see what happens. And March 5th came along, March 6th, March 7th, March 8th. Still didn't get anything, called the company, thought the response was a little casual. And I just started getting a little nervous about it. So March 9th, day before the show, it was in the evening, still didn't have the tickets, still didn't have the link to download. I called Turning Stone. I said, should I be nervous? Have you ever heard of this company? They said, well, there's a lot of third-party resellers out there. I said, okay. I said, well, you know what? I'm nervous about it. I'm going to go ahead and order a second set of 4 tickets.
Got it.
So around 11 o'clock that night, I got an email from the company, and they said, okay, your tickets are ready to download. Just follow this link. At this point, I was thinking...
So you ordered a second set from the same company?
No.
Oh, from a different company?
No, I ordered them right from Turning Stone.
Oh, from Turning. So those were good seats?
Yes, and they were about in the same area. 188 versus 328.
Wow.
So there was quite a difference, and so at that point, I thought to myself... and I won't use the word scammed. I felt that I was not going to get those tickets in time. So I wanted to be sure we could go. We'd been planning it for a while. So lo and behold, the messages start coming, and they're, telling me, and I said to them, I'm going to protest this. I don't believe you've provided the service you promised. I was waiting since the 5th to get the tickets. So show comes. We have a wonderful time. Jay Leno was fantastic. 2 hours of stand-up. It was terrific. I protest the charges through my credit card. They come back and they say, here's all the fine print. You agreed to all the terms. we're declining your protest. The charges are back on your card, and
wow.
so I just kind of put my tail between my
What was
legs.
the
and
fine
kind of
print?
went,
What was the fine print that allowed them to charge you $300 and some odd dollars for nothing?
It was an upcharge, on the seats, and basically it was their normal upcharge,
Yeah.
and there were various different fees and whatnot that
Okay.
they charge. In the fine print, it did say that the tickets would be available only after the venue released them, and it could be up to 24 hours
Got it,
before.
okay.
So even though they had promised it was going to be the 5th, and that's kind of, what made me a little nervous, it did say in there it could be the 24 hours.
So it's the fine print that.
It's the fine print. Yeah.
Derek, would you call that a scam? I think it's pretty close to a scam.
I think it's just unethical.
They're relying on unethical. They're relying
Dishonest.
They're relying on the fact that you're not going to read the fine print.
Yes,
'Cause
absolutely.
who does? Nobody does.
Nobody does, and
Yeah.
I was on shopping on online over the weekend, and I got to those last two little boxes before you hit submit your order, and it says check these two boxes. I didn't check the two boxes. My order didn't process. Said go back, correct the red, and it was those two boxes, and I still didn't take time to read them.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
checked the boxes and hit submit, and my order went through it. And we all do that. The third-party resources and how they're getting around this is that they do have an exorbitant amount of service fees, is what
Yeah.
they're calling them. They're customer convenience fees, and with those customer convenience fees in that fine print, they do list them. And you're only seeing the value of the tickets when you make
Right.
the purchase, and then you have all these extra fees, and you see it at a later date.
So
when you get bills.
how do you know? Because there are times, like I'll give you, so for my wife's birthday, about 4 or 5 years, whenever Train played at SPAC, had the option last minute, we're going to buy tickets. You can't get tickets. The show's sold out. But I found this third party vendor that had a VIP package. And you got a free buffet, you got parking that came in from the other side, so you didn't go through all the traffic. Seats were really good. Had a great experience. We paid about double, but you bought food, you bought parking with it. How are you able to tell if you've got somebody who's legitimate or somebody who's really going to just charge you these fees for no extra?
In my opinion, it's just do the simple math. If you look at the face value of your tickets, and in your case, you had some add-ons, so you got some benefits.
Right,
If those
right.
benefits, the difference between what you paid and the face value of the tickets, is worth the buffet, the parking,
Sure.
that VIP treatment that you're going to get, and you feel it's worth it, then you're getting a service,
Yeah.
for the money you're spending. But just charging, in Ann's case, a service fee that was exorbitant.
Right.
These people didn't do anything.
And you bought early. It's not like you bought last minute for a sold out show. That's the other thing.
And I don't believe it was sold out. There were.
Yeah, well, you were able to buy tickets.
There were a lot
few
of
days before?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the day before.
Wow.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
were a lot of empty seats in the level that we were at.
Well,
We
and
didn't get expensive seats.
Yeah.
To what Ann's pointing out is exactly what we've experienced. It started with Kinky Boots. Is that when they go in and they buy these seats for these the third party resources go in and make their purchases,
yeah.
they're buying entire blocks with
Right.
with hopes that they're going to sell them. Again, they only need to sell a couple of the seats in the entire block to make their profit. The rest just sits there empty. So the seats that Ann saw, more than likely, were the seats that just never sold.
Got
But the
it.
third parties had purchased.
4 of them could have been your original tickets,
I'm
right?
sure they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to get close,
Yeah.
to where we were. But,
Right, right.
So, and I think, Derek, maybe you can back me up on this. I think one thing to keep in mind is you're much less likely to get ripped off or scammed or gouged, however you want to phrase it, if you go directly to the venue, right? I mean,
Well,
if
you're not
avoiding.
going to be scammed if you go to the venue.
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Right.
And
Right.
So-
and the thing is too is that when you come to Broadway Utica to purchase your tickets, we take your information, we take your credit card, you walk out with your tickets in hand.
Yeah.
There isn't any of this. You're going to receive them on a future date. You should have tickets in hand. And I'll say I had a lady phone me yesterday in the office, and she was adorable, and she wanted to know if she had been scammed from another venue. And I said, well, I really can't answer that question for you, but let's kind of walk through it. Where did you buy your tickets? Immediately when she gave me the name of the site, it was the same site that had our Rudolph tickets for $294 a ticket.
Okay.
So I went on. I said, I can't say you were scammed or not, but I can tell you the site that you purchased your tickets from for another venue is the same site that was charging $294 a night for a Rudolph ticket.
So what's interesting about all of this is the story hits, and then what happens, Ann?
Then it's the day after Christmas, and I get a phone call from at 5
That's this
o'clock.
year, right? Recently, day after Christmas.
Yeah, a few days ago.
Well, last year, technically.
A call at home from Jay Leno, and it was on my cell phone, and I thought, well, the only person that has my cell phone would be, my friends who'd be pranking me.
Right, right. So you're
not
not believing this at this point.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And poor Jay Leno, I'm like, you are not Jay Leno. And he says, I am Jay Leno. I put him on speakerphone, had my family home. I put him on speaker, and sure enough, it was, and he's, talking, and it's Jay Leno, and I'm coming to the realization, and I don't even really know what I said. I think I was a babbling idiot at that point.
So he picked up the news feed, saw the story, and wanted to call you. And I know that I believe he made a few calls locally to try to find her, right?
Yes. And he called the OD to get my number. Yeah. And so when he called, I thought it was Derek playing a prank on me.
Do you have a good Jay Leno?
No, I don't actually. But I was impressed that she thought it would be me. That was a compliment.
So and if you know anything about Jay Leno, he is notorious for making private phone calls like this. Not necessarily on this matter, but it was always a thing in radio that would say, don't ever count Jay Leno out. Keep calling, you'll get him. He'll just pick up the phone someday and call you, and you'll be surprised by it. And that's what he really did with you here.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
And how impressive it was him. And it was him and not like, hey, Ann, this is so-and-so. I'm going to put you on with Jay.
Yeah.
So what was it, just a conversation? Did he offer you anything? Did he?
Well, he called, and once I made him prove who he was, which I'm still embarrassed about. But he did tell me a little about himself, which I knew because I was a huge fan from The Tonight Show.
Yeah.
He said, I felt badly about what happened to you with the price of the tickets. And he said, I want to give you 4 free tickets and backstage passes. So,
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he said, I'm going to give you the number of my office, and you can give him a call. I think he thought the show was coming up.
Oh,
and I said to him, this actually was last March this happened. He said, and he kind of was like, well, I never know where I really am, and he laughed, because he's all over.
Yeah.
But
so they're going to hook you up with an upcoming show.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yes.
Who would have thought that would happen?
I was shocked. I was totally shocked. And it was just so heartwarming. And I think at one point I did tell him how much I loved him. I asked him to fly me out to California,
He didn't fall for that.
One of those antique cars. He loves his cars, all of that stuff. Well, that
was one of her
cool.
questions. How many cars do you have?
I did.
You did ask him that.
Because I was, challenging him. I said, well, what's your favorite car? He said, well, I have a lot. I said, I do know that,
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so at the end of the day, and most people aren't going to get this luxury that you received. So you have to be careful, right? I mean, that's the lesson to be learned out of this whole thing.
Absolutely.
And, and again, what they're doing is completely legal. And, with the first phase of Senator Schumer's bill that was passed is that's just making the process more difficult for them. The second phase, hopefully, that Mr. Blumenthal from Connecticut is introducing is hopefully making it, taking the law to the level where they have to disclose who they are, but who they aren't as well. And they have to disclose that they aren't Broadway Utica if it's our tickets. We're not the Turning Stone.
So there's going to be a disclosure they have to give that explains if this all goes through.
Just to make it more transparent and exactly who you're doing business with.
All right, Ann, that's a great story, by the way. Yep. And which show are you going to go to? Do you know what city you're going to end up going to?
I think we're going to try to go to Westbury.
Yeah, I was going to say in March,
that's
right?
In March, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's around St. Patrick's Day.
So backstage as well as great seats.
Yes.
Can't beat that.